italiani, forse del mondo, anzi senza forse del mondo, ha rimasto la modestia, la volontà di ulteriormente migliorarsi.
No, ma non è cambiato niente, il mio lavoro lo faccio sempre con lo stesso spirito, però non è cambiato assolutamente niente.
The fifth of 8 children, Baggio's been kicking balls since 3 for a living since the age of 15. He thought he'd ended his career with a massive knee injury in 18, but instead he returned to make his debut in Serie A in 1986 for AC Fiorentina. Baggio was for 5 seasons Fiorentina's treasured discovery and their most valued possession, until their president Pontello earned the eternal hatred of Florence by selling Robbie to Juventus for a then record £7.5 million. That's just the official price. Days of rioting followed, showing that this was no ordinary transfer, and indeed it was tough for Roberto too, as he amply demonstrated the next season. In an extraordinary scene in his first game back at Fiorentina, he refused to kick a penalty against his old club, then exited the field clutching a viola scarf. Politically, of course, it wasn't very clever, but at least refreshingly sincere.
Queste cose fatte le ho fatte perché le sentivo.
C'è un consiglio che daresti ai giovani che cominciano questa strada? Che ha preso
Ma è difficile dare consigli, anche perché io sono giovane, avrei bisogno di consigli. Io comunque credo che la cosa più importante sia avere la volontà di imparare.
Fans at Juventus, after several frosty starts, have now taken their captain Roberto to their hearts, and indeed, who wouldn't? He brings prestige, glamour and spectacle to Trapattoni's grey Juve. He's taken the team to triumph in Europe, and above all, he scores goals like these. So far this season, Roberto's second in Serie A, scoring his 11 goals, taking his team as well to second place in Serie A.
Gli obiettivi sono la Coppa UEFA e lo scudetto. Noi speriamo di riuscire di arrivare fino in fondo almeno su uno di queste due competizioni. Dobbiamo giocare sicuramente una grande partita per fare un risultato positivo domenica, perché la Sampdoria ha dimostrato di essere tra le pretendenti allo scudetto.
Off-field, as you detect, Baggio is far from extravagant. In fact, his earlier youthful exuberance seems to be giving way to a more mature and quiet Baggio, especially when the press is around. Much is made here in Italy of Baggio's celebrated Buddhism, although given that one of his great passions in life is hunting and killing little birds and animals, he's not exactly an orthodox Buddhist. He has, however, followed many elements of the religion, particularly the meditation techniques, ever since his morale-breaking year on crutches in his first season at Florence. Baggio's conversion to Buddhism aside, probably the biggest shock about him is the fact that he's a long-time fan of that classic American ensemble, the Eagles.
Sì, ho portato il 40° anno.
Ci canta un po'?
No, io sono un disastro.
So, a guitar-based rock fan and reportedly the biggest collection of bootleg U2 albums in Serie A to boot. His life in the fast lane aside, though, away from football, Roberto likes to take it easy. At home with his former teenage sweetheart, now wife Andreina, and their baby girl. However, being FIFA's World Footballer of the Year rather inevitably entails that Roberto's life is filled normally with an endless procession of trips, camps and hotel rooms.
È sempre quello che ti aspettavo, questa vita di calciatore in albergo?
Era quello che speravo di riuscire a fare, sì, però è molto più faticoso di quello che pensavo io.
Fuori dal campo e non solo... Se c'era una cosa che potessi cambiare, cosa sarebbe? nel mondo di calcio?
Lo stress.
Lo stress?
Sì.
Interviste come questa?
Sì.
Ok.
So, after a few photos with an admirer, Roberto began to retreat back to his room, leaving a long line of disappointed journalists and clutching his new prize tightly under his arm. My lucky stars, I believe I heard him say as the door closed. I shall treasure it always. Well, that was the most fun 5 minutes I've had in a corridor with anyone for ages.